Good day and welcome to Big Bad Tech. I'm your instructor Jim Pytel, and today's topic of discussion is AC bridge network analysis. Our objective is to examine a type of complex AC circuit known as a bridge network. We'll learn to analyze bridge networks by applying our previous understanding of delta to Y conversions and Thevenin's theorem. This lecture operates under the presumption the viewer has more than a passing familiarity with both delta and Y conversions featuring complex impedances and AC Thevenin's theorem, as illustrated in the delta and Y conversions featuring complex impedances and AC Thevenin's theorem lectures, available at the Big Bad Tech channel. If you haven't watched these lectures yet, or only dimly recall their contents, please take the time to do so now. If you recall from way back in the Basic Electronics 1 DC Circuit Analysis playlist, a complex circuit is an arrangement of elements that feature occasions in which elements are neither purely in series nor purely in parallel with one another. The classic example of a complex circuit is a bridge network consisting of 5 impedance elements, where 2 pairs of stacked elements form the uprights of the bridge, Zm and N on the left and Zp and Zq on the right, and the 5th element, Zx, is the decking of the bridge spanning the chasm between the 2 uprights. You'll note impedance element Zm is not purely in series with impedance element Zn in the left upright because of the influence of the bridge impedance element Zx. Any current entering Zm does not necessarily travel through Zn because some of it can travel through Zx. Similarly, you'll note that impedance Zp is not purely in series with impedance element Zq in the right upright because of the influence of the bridge impedance element Zx. Any current entering Zp does not necessarily travel through Zq because some of it can travel through Zx. Also note that neither the top nor bottom pair of impedance elements, Zm and Zp and Zn and Zq, are purely in parallel with one another because of the influence of the bridge impedance element Zx between them. In summary, this is a complex circuit because there exists no purely series nor purely parallel paths, but rather a complex web of paths that necessitate simplification or alternate analysis techniques. 2 methods can be used to analyze bridge networks. The first necessitates the use of a delta to Y conversion, and the second necessitates the use of Thevenin's theorem. Ideally, the viewer already has ample experience with both these techniques, and as such, I'm encouraging you to get actively involved and treat this lecture as you would a series of illustrated example problems. If you feel you're capable of arriving at the answers by yourself, by all means pause the lecture and do so. If your answers don't match those illustrated, by all means feel free to rewind the lecture and correct any mistakes you may have made. Let's first examine bridge network analysis scenarios, making use of the delta to Y conversion. Consider a 120 volt 60 Hz AC source supplying a bridge network consisting of 5 impedance elements. Zm, the top left upright of the bridge, is 270 ohms at an angle of 25 degrees. Zn, the bottom left upright of the bridge, is 240 ohms at an angle of 0 degrees. Zp, the top upright of the bridge, is 270 ohms at an angle of 25 degrees, and Zq, the bottom right upright of the bridge, is 100 ohms at an angle of negative 90 degrees. And finally, Zx, the bridge span itself, is 270 ohms at an angle of 25 degrees. Let's say we're being asked to solve for the voltage across and the current through the bridge element Zx. Key to the solution of this problem making use of equivalency between delta and Y configurations is to determining the nodal voltages of the bridge element Zx. Let's call these nodes A and B. There are several places to make use of an equivalency between delta and Y configurations in our bridge network. First, one can convert the Y configuration of Zm, Zx, and Zn into a delta. Secondly, one can just as easily convert the Y configuration of Zp, Zq, and Zx into a delta. While easily within our reach, these Y to delta conversions wouldn't result in a simpler circuit. As such, let's consider other possibilities. One could convert the delta configuration of Zx, Zq, and Zn into a Y. One could just as easily convert the delta configuration of Zm, Zp, and Zx into a Y. Either delta to Y configuration would result in a simple series parallel circuit. This being said, you'll note impedance elements Zm, Zp, and Zx are identical. This is a balanced delta configuration, and converting to a balanced Y configuration is the easiest of tasks. If we added a third node C to the top of our delta configuration and zoomed in just our delta configuration, delta impedance element ZAB is in fact element Zx between nodes A and B. Delta impedance ZBC is element Zp between nodes B and C. And finally, delta impedance ZCA is element Zm between nodes C and A. The general use descriptive formula for converting a delta impedance to a Y impedance has us multiply the two delta impedances connected to each node, then asks us to divide this by the sum of all delta impedances. Given this is a balanced delta network, all delta impedances are the same, and we can make use of the shortcut, where each balanced Y impedance is 1/3 the magnitude of the balanced delta impedance. Zy equals Z delta divided by 3. Substituting in our given values yields a balanced Y impedance of 90 ohms at an angle of 25 degrees. Y impedance Z1 is 90 ohms at an angle of 25 degrees. Y impedance Z2 is also 90 ohms at an angle of 25 degrees. And Y impedance Z3 is also 90 ohms at an angle of 25 degrees. Ideally, we should be able to swap out this new Y configuration with our earlier delta configuration, and the bridge circuit should be none the wiser to the substitution. Substituting our resultant balanced Y configuration for our earlier balanced delta configuration results in a purely series parallel circuit. Note that we've gained access to an additional central node. I'm calling this node Y. This being said, we've lost access to element Zx. However, if we solve for the nodal voltages at A and B, we in effect solve for the voltage differential across impedance element Zx. In this case, VA is the voltage across impedance element N, and VB is the voltage across impedance element Q. Z1 and Zn are perfectly in series with one another, a simplification I'm calling Z single prime. Substituting in our given values, Z single prime has a value of 323.8 ohms at an angle of 6.7 degrees. Z2 and ZQ are perfectly in series with one another, a simplification I'm calling Z double prime. Substituting in our given values, Z double prime has a value of 102.4 ohms at an angle of negative 37.2 degrees. Despite simplifying the circuit, we've lost access to our nodes of interest, A and B. Node A is internal to combined impedance Z single prime, and node B is internal to combined impedance Z double prime. Z single prime and Z double prime are perfectly in parallel with one another, a simplification I'm calling Z triple prime. Substituting in our given values, Z triple prime has a value of 82.1 ohms at an angle of negative 27.1 degrees. Z triple prime is perfectly in series with impedance element Z3. This is a perfect setup for the voltage divider rule. Application of the voltage divider rule demonstrates that V triple prime is 63.7 volts at an angle of negative 27.3 degrees. Given V triple prime is the parallel combination of combined impedance Z single prime and Z double prime, and voltage across elements in parallel is the same, it can be said that V triple prime equals V single prime, which equals V double prime. V single prime is also 63.7 volts at an angle of negative 27.3 degrees, as is V double prime, 63.7 volts at an angle of negative 27.3 degrees. Now we need to solve for voltage division within the single prime and the double prime impedance paths. VA is the voltage across impedance element N. An application of the AC voltage divider rule solving for VA yields 47.2 volts at an angle of negative 34.1 degrees. VB is the voltage across impedance element Q. Application of the AC voltage divider rule demonstrates VB is 62.2 volts at an angle of negative 80.1 degrees. Our voltage of interest is VAB, the differential from node A to node B, where VAB equals VA minus VB. Substituting in our given values yields 44.9 volts at an angle of 50.8 degrees. Now, under the understanding that our bridge network is none the wiser to the substitution of the balanced Y for the balanced delta, we are allowed to assume that the differential from node A to node B for our earlier balanced delta configuration is also 44.9 volts at an angle of 50.8 degrees. If delta impedance Zx is between node A and B, the voltage across impedance element Zx is also 44.9 volts at an angle of 50.8 degrees. An application of Ohm's law demonstrates current through the impedance element Zx is 166.5 milliamperes at an angle of 25.8 degrees. In summary, substituting a balanced Y configuration for a balanced delta configuration in a complex circuit resulted in a simple series parallel circuit, and the analysis of this simpler series parallel circuit mapped back to our earlier complex circuit comprised of the delta configuration yielded our desired results. Let's try the analysis of this same complex bridge circuit making use of Thevenin's theorem. If everything I've been saying to you is true, we should ideally obtain the same results.